Hey Berclair, it's Miss Schramme again. Today we're going to do a lesson in reading about tornadoes. So if you see here in the picture, a tornado is the wind that spins in big circles and it makes kind of like a funnel that can come through and create some pretty big damage in places around the world. Some of the effects of tornadoes, after they come through a town, you might look around and see some of these effects. So let's go through some of these, see what might happen when a tornado comes. So one of the most common problems with tornadoes is a lot of times they're so strong, the wind is so powerful that they destroy homes. Sometimes they flip homes completely over, as you see on the left there, and other times it might take the roof off of a house. Tornadoes can be really powerful and really do some damage to people's lives. Another thing that can happen with tornadoes is people do sometimes die. If they're in a house that collapses or they get hit by something flying in the wind, people can get really hurt and pass away sometimes. One of the most common problems with tornadoes is it knocks down or breaks the power lines that go through a city. Those power lines, those strings between the poles, are what carry electricity from house to house, from company to company, and from street to street. It takes electricity all across the country. So if a tornado hurts the power line, the electricity might go out in a home or a business, any building that uses electricity for their lights, for their air conditioning, to charge your phone, to keep the refrigerator going. So sometimes if you've ever experienced the power going out at your house, it might cause some of the food in your refrigerator to go bad, or you won't be able to charge your phone and you can't turn on the lights in your house, so you have to use like a flashlight or candles. Other things that can happen when a tornado comes through is it is so powerful, the wind is so strong in a tornado that it can pick up cars, it could even pick up trees and knock them over and completely destroy them like you see in this picture. One of the dangers of tornadoes and being outside during a tornado is if the wind has picked up any big objects such as a car or a branch from a tree, you could get hit with one of those and it can be really dangerous. And then one of the other problems after tornadoes, we often have the issue of animals getting lost. So a lot of times things like cows or sheep or chickens were kept in their home by a fence or a small house. And if that gets destroyed in the tornado, they can get out of where they're supposed to stay. They can get out of the fence, get out of their field that they're supposed to stay in. And so a lot of times a tornado can cause a lot of lost animals. So the story that we're going to read today is actually about a tornado that happened here in Tennessee. So if you'll look with me, Tennessee is right here in the middle of the United States, that orange state in the circle. And if we go to the next slide, this is where the tornado happened. That's Nashville, the capital of Tennessee. And the tornado happened in a couple of cities around Nashville, kind of in that area where the dot is. Now look, Nashville is pretty close to Memphis, because we're both in the state of Tennessee. It's about 3 hours away in the car. So Memphis did not get affected by the tornadoes, but it did experience the rain and thunder that happened in the storm that caused the tornadoes. So the storm came through from this direction, and it was lightning, thunder, and then it got to Tennessee and tornadoes started happening. So here's our article, and we're going to read through once real quick, so just listen closely, and if you need to pause and go back to rewind, that's totally cool to help you understand. Tornadoes hit Tennessee, killing at least 24 people. By News ELA. On Tuesday, March 3rd, tornadoes ripped through Tennessee. At least 24 people were killed. Officials say 40 buildings were destroyed. Hundreds of people were left homeless. Officials also said 38 people were still missing. A tornado is a spinning tube of wind. It goes from the top of a thunderstorm to the ground. A tornado can be hard to see. You usually can only see a tornado if it has water, dust, and small pieces of junk. Tornadoes are the most violent storms. Nashville residents were shocked by the damage. A tornado blew down homes and about 40 buildings collapsed. Power lines and trees broke. Public transportation shut down. The disaster also affected Super Tuesday voting. Super Tuesday is the day many states hold elections. These elections help decide who will run for president in the fall. Some polling sites had to be moved. Jeff Roberts manages elections in Nashville's Davidson County. He said voters could cast ballots for 2 super sites. John Cooper is the mayor of Nashville. He said the deadly tornadoes were a reminder that life is very fragile. Nashville residents grateful to be alive. The tornadoes were caused by several storms. In Nashville, the tornadoes tore through Germantown and East Nashville. One tornado also affected suburbs near Nashville. Paula Wade lives in East Nashville. She says her dog woke up before the storm hit. She was nearly injured by broken glass. Wade then saw the damage at the East End United Methodist Church. The tornado destroyed the church's stained glass window. For Wade, it was a painful reminder. A tornado in 1998 destroyed her church. Ronald Baldwin and Harry Nahi lived in East Nashville. Their roof came crashing down on them. Baldwin had to kick his way through the broken roof. Evan and Carly Peters also live in East Nashville. Carly Peters said they're grateful to be alive. The tornado caused power outages too. More than 44,000 people lost power. The Capitol and an airport closed after losing power. Elem Ferguson speaks on behalf of the governor. She said 2 shelters also experienced power outages. Schools close after storm. Nashville public schools were closed on Tuesday. Nearby Wilson County will close schools for the rest of the week. All right, let's read this article again, and this time I'm going to stop sometimes to ask you some questions. Tornadoes hit Tennessee, killing at least 24 people. On Tuesday, March 3rd, tornadoes ripped through Tennessee. At least 24 people were killed. Officials say 40 buildings were destroyed. Hundreds of people were left homeless. Officials also said 38 people were still missing. A tornado is a spinning tube of wind. It goes from the top of a thunderstorm to the ground. A tornado can be hard to see. You can usually only see a tornado if it has water, dust, and small pieces of junk. Tornadoes are the most violent storms. Nashville residents were shocked by the damage. A tornado blew down homes. About 40 buildings collapsed. Power lines and trees broke. Public transportation shut down. Okay, what were some of the effects of the tornado in Nashville? What were some of the effects of the tornado in Nashville? What happened after the tornado? Yeah, so some of the things that happened are, we can look in the text. About 40 buildings collapsed. The power lines and trees broke. Public transportation shut down. The tornado blew down homes. And if we go back to the first page, there was also, it said that 24 people were killed. So those were some of the things that happened because of the tornado. They were the effects of the tornado. Now I want you to write a sentence in the comments down below the video about one effect of the tornado. Write a sentence that says one effect of the tornado in Nashville. Be sure to use a quote from the text to help the reader understand where you got your information. If you want to, you can use this sentence stem. One effect of the tornado was, and then when you use your quote from the text, be sure to add quotation marks like these. Pause the video until you're done writing your sentence. All right, let's keep reading. The disaster also affected Super Tuesday voting. Super Tuesday is the day many states hold election. These elections help decide who will run for president in the fall. Some polling sites had to be moved. Jeff Roberts manages elections in Nashville's Davidson County. He said voters could cast ballots from 2 super sites. What effect did the tornado have on voting? What effect did the tornado have on voting? Yeah, so in Nashville, they were in the middle of doing voting for the primary elections for president in November. And because of the tornadoes, some of the places where people needed to vote they couldn't go to them. So they had to move to a different place, which means they had to drive to a different site to go vote. John Cooper is the mayor of Nashville. He said the deadly tornadoes were a reminder that life is very fragile. Nashville residents grateful to be alive. The tornadoes were caused by several storms. In Nashville, the tornadoes tore through Germantown and East Nashville. One tornado also affected suburbs near Nashville. Paula Wade lives in East Nashville. She said her dog woke her up from the storm when the storm hit. She was nearly injured by broken glass. Wade then saw the damage at the East End United Methodist Church. The tornado destroyed the church's stained glass window. For Wade, it was a painful reminder. A tornado in 1998 destroyed her church. Ronald Baldwin and Harry Nahay live in East Nashville. Their roof came crashing down on them. Baldwin had to kick his way through the broken roof. Evan and Carly Peters also live in East Nashville. Carly Peters says they are grateful to be alive. How does Carly feel after the tornado? How did Carly feel after the tornado? She said she felt grateful to be alive. She was glad that she wasn't hurt, even though the tornado came to where she lived. The tornado caused power outages too. More than 44,000 people lost power. The Capitol and an airport closed after losing power. Gillum Ferguson speaks on behalf of the governor. She said 2 shelters also experienced power outages. How many people didn't have power after the tornado? Exactly. 44,000 people were not able to use their refrigerators or their lights in their house because the tornado had knocked down the power poles. Schools close after storm. Nashville public schools were closed on Tuesday. Nearby Wilson County will close schools for the rest of the week. Okay guys, I know y'all know what the main idea is, but just to remind you, since we've been out of school for a few weeks, the main idea is the point the author wants you to understand. So that's the important thing from the text. There can be more than one main idea of a text, and people can disagree about a main idea, but it has to be something that was very important in the text that the author spent a lot of time writing about. So you are going to write a main idea sentence in the comments. Write a main idea sentence in the comments. So I want you to think back to the text. You can rewind the video if you need to go back and reread some of it. And think about, what was the author trying to tell me? What did the author of this article want me to know? That would be your main idea. Then you're going to write, using this sentence stem if you want, the main idea is, and you can tell me the main idea after that. So write that below in the comments. The last part of this lesson is to write a summary of the article. You're going to write a summary of the article using the main idea that you just wrote and finding a key detail from the text. Remember that the criteria for a great summary includes, number one, the title, to state the title and the author and the page numbers. Now, we don't have page numbers on this text, so you don't need to worry about that. You just need to state the title and the author in your introduction. Then you need to state the gist of the passage. So you need to say a little bit of background about what the whole passage is about. Then state the main idea. You can use the main idea sentence you just wrote in the comments. Last, share a detail from the text. If you share a detail that's copied from the text, make sure you use quotation marks so that I know you know where that information came from. Write your summary on a piece of notebook paper. If you need help getting started, check out this introduction that you can use and then keep writing from there. So, because we're writing a summary, I started with, and then I put the title. Tornadoes hit Tennessee, killing at least 24 people by News ELA. This is where you would fill in the gist of the passage. Then go to number 3 and number 4 and finish your summary. Remember, we're writing this on a piece of notebook paper. When you're done with your summary, you can use this checklist to make sure you did every single part of a summary. Then, when you finish, take a picture and send it to this phone number. That's my phone number for teaching, and I can see your summary and let you know that you did a great job. Pause the video until you're done writing your summary. Okay guys, I'm really excited to read your summaries, and I will be sharing them with Miss Coatney, Miss Milan, and Miss Stalling when you turn them in. And before you go, I do want to let you know that in the description I'm going to put some links to some other videos you can watch and other places you can learn about tornadoes and some of the ones that have happened in the United States and nearby us. Have a great day. Keep up your learning, keep reading, and we'll see you again next week.